and welcome to the third annual Believe in Battle Creek Short Film Festival. My name is Tom Morris, and I am the project coordinator for this event. And just a brief history. We started in 2018 with one school and 2 classes on how to believe. The films were about how to believe in Battle Creek. And it was about focusing on nonprofits and what they do and how people bring belief into Battle Creek. The second year, we grew to 2 schools and more students, and it was about how to bring belief into action. Our third year, as you can see, we've went from 4 schools, and now it's a celebration about bringing students together to tell us what causes they believe in, what efforts are there, what situations they want to bring spotlight, and through their art, through their written piece, and most importantly, through their short films that they'll be able to create, show our generation in the community why you believe in something and how you want to turn it into action, and in turn, making us believe in the causes and events that's going on. So we are investing in all of you to tell your stories creatively and to bring awareness to something that's passionate for you. So with that being said, I want to hand over the mic to our MC, Terry Burleson, and we'll start this event. So thank you.
Thank you. And good afternoon. First and foremost, we want to thank you all for being here. My name is Terry Burleson, and I currently serve as the program manager for a small nonprofit here in Battle Creek called the Battle Creek College Access Network. You all might recognize me because I stand on this very same stage when you're in 10th grade and bring you all in so you can get hands-on career experience to help propel you forward in your latter years of high school to dig deeper into what your aspirations are and what you want to spend your time doing once you graduate high school. It is a pleasure to be with you all here today as you embark on this really special project that has been created in the recent past, but has so much potential for you all. In that journey of creating these films, these products, you're going to learn a lot about yourselves. You're going to learn how you work together in groups. You're going to learn a lot about your community, maybe reaffirm some things you knew, or apply the learnings that you recently gained and to align it with your passion. But you are also going to advocate for an organization or a service in your community, and I hope that you all, as you go through this process, just take a moment to stop and think about the ripples that your work will create as you move forward. There's a lot of good opportunity in this project. So, as was just described to you, we have a panel here today that I'd like to introduce to you. So, without further ado, I'm going to start at this end of the table and move forward. I introduce to you Jaziel Pugh, a local artist known for his murals and other work. Most recently, he completed the KCC Davidson Arts Building mural on the campus of Kellogg Community College. Please welcome Jaziel. He's got some fans in the front. Next, we have Nick Buckley. He is a writer and journalist for the Battle Creek Enquirer here in Battle Creek, Michigan. Give Nick a hand. Next in line, we have Lon Stratton. He's the owner of Stratton Camera, based in Farmington Hills, Michigan. And last but certainly not least, we have Dave Lowing. He is the owner of Lowing Light and Grip, Lowing Studios, Lowing Products in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Say hello to Dave. Jaziel, I want to start with you. As a local resident, I'm sure that you can connect to the sentiment of believing in your community where you were born and raised. As a muralist and an outstanding artist, tell us a little bit about 2 projects, 2 of your biggest projects, what inspired you to embark on those projects, and how they helped you demonstrate your belief in Battle Creek.
It was probably the last project, which was at KCC, and that was because it was like the biggest project. It was 6 panels. I think that was like 60 by 70 feet. And I did all 6 within like was like a month and a half or something like that, every day. I was there. It was kind of hard because I only got to work about like 12, maybe 12, like 13 hours a day. I could have went longer, but I couldn't be in the building that long. Cause it was on KCC, like that was the biggest thing. Like it was on a college campus. Like all my other murals was like on buildings, restaurants, it was for people. But the fact that it was on a college campus, I think that like set the bar for me super high. And because I'm a student there as well, it was just like, dang, I got this mural on this college campus and I go here. You know what I mean? It was just kind of like, yeah, that was a real eye opener. And the second one was, I did a butterfly mural on 20th and Territorial. And that was like, that's out in Lakeview by where the Sir Pizza used to be at. And that was a real big one because it got me a lot of attention and it kind of like set the bar, I guess, for my murals. Like I kind of started getting noticed by that. People start, I had respect before that, but like respecting me as an artist because of that mural. And so, and it was all through Battle Creek. Like, I mean, I ain't doing it in like Kalamazoo. I got all the love from Battle Creek, so that just kind of like motivated me to keep doing what I was doing.
I really appreciate, not only did you demonstrate your art capacity, but you were able to make a connection with people, and I think that's reflected in, as you say, the love that you receive from folks in the community.
Yeah, and like, it was the first time that I had like somebody become like emotional to my work. Like when I was painting the butterfly mural, the first one, a woman came up to me and I ain't gonna say her name, but like she started crying because her daughter had died and the blue butterflies reminded her of her daughter. So like she like gave me a hug and started crying. That's when I just knew that my art was like a lot bigger than just a painting. Like I really just touched this woman's feelings. So then I became a lot more intentional with what I was doing.
And what do you think that says about the impact over time if you were to continue putting out local work like that and impacting local people?
I mean, I'm probably big because like that was just one woman that seen me. I'm not sure who drives past and see that mural and like might get emotional. There's probably been hundreds of people, and so I think if I just keep doing stuff like that, not like intentionally trying to make people emotional, but doing stuff that I love and just being me, I think that can help out.
100%. That's awesome. Thank you, Jaziel. Appreciate that. At this time, move over to Lon. As we all know, film is inherently a vehicle for storytelling. You all are going to create short films where you capture content that is then released, and just as Jaziel was saying, you don't know what kind of impacts that has. So Lon, our friend here from Farmington Hills, Michigan, has worked in freelance photography and direction. And Lon, I'd like from a technical standpoint, what are some strategies that you've used in the past in whatever project to tell a compelling story?
It's true, I do own a company called Stratton Camera, which is a rental place. You go rent cameras. But I've also worked as a cinematographer over the years. And what the job of a cinematographer, and as you guys start to make your project and you're in groups, somebody will be the cinematographer, somebody will be the director. The cinematographer's job is to translate visually the idea of the director, to tell the story visually. You guys have an amazing opportunity now. When I got in the business and when Dave got in the business, technology got in our way. It was really hard, it was very difficult, you really had to spend a lot of time to learn it, and it didn't always come out. Now, the technology that you guys have is amazing. The phones in your pocket can create some amazing visuals that we were unable to do many, many years ago. So the job of telling the story now is you can bypass all that technology. You don't have to worry about learning how this works and that works and film and blah, blah, blah. You can go right to telling the story with the devices in your pocket, or if you ever decide to move up the level of filmmaking, you'll learn more about higher-end equipment. But what you have right in your pocket is going to be a great way. So probably what would be a good thing for you to do is to learn some of the older filmmaking terms. Like if you're going to create a shot for your director, you know, why does that shot tell the story? How does it tell the story? And just learning terms, simple terms, close-ups, wide shots, medium shots. Does the camera move? Does the camera not move? And to try to define why does any of that happen? Why is the camera moving? Why is it a close-up? Why is it a wide shot? That's the job of a cinematographer, and it advances, it is something that advances the story. And you can see how visuals impact people, any visual. So it's a very impactful medium, what you're about to do and the projects that you're about to make, and they can have a really strong impact as long as the story is there, as long as you have the story and that the visuals tell the story. So I guess really what I want to emphasize is that you really have an amazing opportunity to do some incredible technical work today without worrying about high-end camera equipment or crew structure or anything else. That's all available if you ever want to learn that about how that works. But just to be able to create a visual is a very, very easy thing to do as long as you have the creativity, and I understand that's why you're all here, is to make these movies. So as a cinematographer, it's all about finding a picture, finding a visual that will tell the story of your director, and that's really the main job.
I love the point that you make about learning the terms of filmmaking to really dive into the experience. Through, I think, learning those terms, you inherently learn about techniques. But more importantly, to ask yourselves, why are you doing the project? Right at the end there, you had mentioned, how do you find the right person to help you tell the story? And this just puts you on the spot because I did not ask Lon this prior to our panel assembly. Can you give us, just to help the students visualize, is there a specific example you can draw from where you did find that right person, or you did make a core edit to film that really helped tell the story?
Yeah, any time that I've been involved in helping someone make a movie, a director, you always have to define what the movie's going to look like based on their story. You have to mine the information out of the director. The cinematographer it's a really close relationship between the director and the cinematographer. And you really have to be on the same page as to what you think this would look like and how it's going to tell the story. So I don't know if I have a specific example, because every project that I've ever worked on has been that process of how are we going to tell the story? What's it going to look like? And why is it going to look like that? Those are the conversations you have. Why does it look this way? And how are you going to do it? You talk to your gaffer, Dave, about how, you have some great idea about how you want it to look, and then you present that to your crew if you're working on that level.
So by knowing one's purpose in the project and by following a process of communication, all the other components, who to ask, how to edit, how to shoot, I did those in the wrong order, those things become more clear is essentially what you're saying.
Yeah, exactly. And every decision you make should point to one thing, and it's about telling the story. Does whatever it is you're going to do. I'm going to put this item in the shot. I'm going to put a light over here. I'm going to put the camera over here. Anything that you do serves one purpose. It has to tell the story. If it doesn't advance the story by putting this water bottle here, then move on. As long as the concept of advancing the story, everything you do, whatever it is, advances the story, you will be successful.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Lon. I appreciate that. So I'd like to direct this next question to Dave Lowing. And in Lon's response, he did mention kind of the scene of what is happening in Michigan as far as filmmaking and kind of just cinematography, that type of work. Dave, as you know, in West Michigan, there's been an increasing number of small documentaries and elaborative storytelling projects. That industry is really growing in our state. And I wonder if you could, whether in retelling history or in marketing new ideas, tell us about how specific products or even additionally techniques could be useful to students as they attempt to amplify their stories.
It's a different tool for each job, and you'll use it often, in a different way to, as Lon says, to tell the story. We start out with, in my mind, it starts out with 3-point lighting to see it, to see what's going on with a key and a fill and a back. But sometimes to tell a story, it's not appropriate lighting. They're off in the shadows, or there's another element that is specific to that story that lighting is or is not needed. Oftentimes, the lack of light is as important as where the light is.
So what I hear from you is that you want students to really pay attention to the details. Some of you may have access to elaborate cameras. Some of you may just have an iPhone that you'll edit in iMovie. But I think that's what I'm picking up from you. Would you say that's correct?
I carry a flashlight on me at all times, and sometimes it's not often much more than that.
Yeah. So do you have any specific, we've seen, Dave, some really creative kind of techniques used in some of these short films, such as movement. Do you have any advice on capturing movement in a film at all?
Well, several ways. Of course, you can move the dolly, or you can move the actor, or you can move both. And how they work in relation to each other. That almost addresses more toward Lon because he's setting that up and addressing that. But I'm the toolbox on set, and me and my crew. And teamwork is another big part of any storytelling and movie making. Is everyone working together and being on the same page, and we talk amongst each other and throw out ideas, because sometimes the most remote idea becomes the most effective.
Oh, that's awesome. So between yourself and Lon, I hear know your purpose. Why are you doing the project? I hear assemble your team and assign roles while communicating. And then knowing your purpose, knowing what it is you want to achieve, find the toolbox and get the different elements that you put together to create a cohesive story.
Exactly.
Awesome. Very good. Give it up for Dave. Last but not least, panelist, we have Nick Buckley here. And as I had told you in the beginning, Nick is a writer and a journalist for the Battle Creek Enquirer. So Nick, my question to you is, as a writer in the community, you see the stories that are published for the good, for the bad, for the inspiring, for the, for the warning. Things that folks need to know about. But from a perspective of narrative, how do you feel that a film festival like this, from what you've experienced and from what you've heard today, how does a film festival like this contribute to the narrative in the community, and what impact over time do you think that something like this could have?
Yeah, I'm really jealous of the opportunity you guys have at this point, because I remember being 17, 18, coming to presentations like this and kind of looking for something to be inspired by. And I'm from Battle Creek. I was ready to bounce and get out of here, and I can't say that I necessarily believed in Battle Creek, but I came back after 4 years at Western and realized there's a lot of good people in this community that are trying to make the change. For the people who don't believe in Battle Creek like me, it's important to be that change that you want to see, and instead of just complaining about it, do something about it. And we have that in spades here in Battle Creek, the nonprofits and organizations that are all doing something to make the city better. And I think that's a narrative that continues to grow from the initial Believe in Battle Creek Film Festival. And the following year, the bar continues to be raised. And this is a great opportunity for all of you who have this platform. If you don't believe in Battle Creek, why not? What is it that you'd like to see changed? And who are the agents that are making that change? Focus on them and amplify their voices. Give voice to the voiceless. And use this really as a great opportunity to show the positive in Battle Creek, the people who are actually doing the things to make Battle Creek a better place to live. The generation that set it up for you guys to be here and to have the opportunities you have. but also you can, look at yourselves and what your generation is doing to make this place better. Because it's easy to sit there and complain. I mean, social media, that's basically half of what it's for, is to complain, but it's also a reminder to all of you here are writers in a sense. You're all content creators. I assume most of you have social media pages, and you're documenting life in Battle Creek on the daily basis. But this is a chance for you to take that narrative and focus it into a single message, where you can really share how you feel Battle Creek is moving in a direction for the good or for the worse. If it is for the worse, address why and what's being done to change that. So I really hope all of you see this as a tremendous opportunity to use your voice, because we don't hear a lot from the high school age kids, what's happening on the ground, how you see things. So use this really as an opportunity to make your voices heard and to talk about what change you'd like to see and the changes that are taking place. This film festival is a great way to kind of, like I said, share your voice and your ideas and what you think works and what you think doesn't.
We can clap for that. We can clap for that. Clap for our local professionals finding inspiration in all of you who will then be an inspiration to other people. Just as a follow-up, Nick, I really like what you said about encouraging students to think about their message. And you have experience of this because you write for a newspaper, and there are only so many characters per story. There are so many stories per newspaper. And so short and sweet is kind of the rule of the day, right? And I think it's the same in this short film festival. These aren't, 90-minute productions. Are there any quick, compelling writing techniques that you might share with students or advice you might give them? Because some of your films will be about interviewing. You'll have those questions pre-drafted, but at some point there's going to be a script that someone's reading at some point to set that argument up.
Yeah, certainly you want to, no matter what you're doing, you want to make it engaging. So, I mean, that's where the visuals really come into play. The voices and all of the interviews that you might be doing. You want to make it, a good hook in the beginning. Certainly, in journalism, that'd be your lead. And then you want to kind of tie a bow all in by the end and kind of say what you've learned and what you presented. So. You all have your own kind of way that you want to do it, and there's no real cookie cutter method for storytelling. We talk about engagement and maybe something longer. It's harder to keep people engaged, but you see new mediums today like podcasting. Sometimes a podcast can go, 2-3 hours and people will listen to that. So I think the idea that we need to have something, quick and real juicy, you can draw something out and still make it engaging. And with video, I'm sure everyone in here has been on YouTube, and there's so many opportunities to take content from other places with permission. You can do so much in just a short film, and you can make it really engaging for your audience. And it's really just up to you to use your creativity and your ideas and to find something that inspires you and try to find something that maybe you don't know a lot about this. And if you're curious, your audience is going to be curious too, and they're going to go along for the ride with you. It's as simple as the who, what, where, when, and why. You really got to keep those things in mind. Sometimes we overthink things, but really just remember that, get the who, what, where, when, and why it's important is really the most important thing for you to remember, and to focus in on why am I doing this? Why is it important that we're focusing on this group or this person? There's a limitless number of individuals and groups that are inspiring, and you just have to capture that. So really focus in and when you're writing, and also be willing to compromise some things when you work in a group setting. Something that you believe you might have to fight for it, but you also might have to give way for somebody else's idea because it better fits the narrative of your story. So just continue to work together, find things that are inspiring, and I presume if it's interesting to you and you're curious, that's going to resonate on the film.
I just wanted to expand on what Nick just said in terms of what it would do for me. These are the kind of conversations we'd have if we were making a movie together. And he's talking about telling a story, interviewing a person. And it's true, you set up an interview, it looks beautiful, and there's the person, and they're talking, and they're talking, and they're talking, and they're You know, that only can go so far, but remember, it's your job. You're trying to not just have the person tell the story, you're trying to tell the story visually. So we were talking about this earlier, so maybe what is it about the story? Maybe you want to show that person's environment. Maybe you want to show some little nervous habit that that person has while they're talking and fidgeting fingers or whatever it is. Get all those shots, which is referred to as B-roll, kind of a joke, but that's the term they use, B-roll, which is this, your main shot is your person, but show something that tells their story. Show where they live, show where they work, show where they are, show what they're doing, show them doing other things while they're talking, and that'll go a long way to, you're trying to elicit some emotional response from your audience. You don't want your audience just to watch the first 30 seconds of your thing and then start getting their phones out, and you want to, really, it's difficult to do, but it's worth it once you get it, once you engage your audience, and that's how you'll do it. When you're watching people watch your movie, if no one gets their phone out, you won.
Thank you so much, and I have just one more thing that I'd like to squeeze in before we move to the opportunity for you all to ask questions. As a college access professional here in Battle Creek, I would be remiss to not ask our panel about different career opportunities that they see that could potentially come out of this project, right? So I would like each of you to kind of popcorn and just tell us very quickly about some of the career options you see in your respective field that students might be interested in looking into.
So as far as art, I guess I should say, like, if you were really into it, like, it's ways to get into art here in Battle Creek. Like, there's plenty of people that work with you. I work with you. There's other people that like work with me that work with you, and the opportunities that I got, those opportunities are open for, I mean, everybody else too. I don't think I'm like just some special person that just got lucky with all this stuff. I put in work for it, but I feel like if you guys or anybody else do the same, it's like it's open floor and open game for everybody to become whatever you want to be. If you want to be an artist, you might have a different way of going about it, but I think the same thing apply if you just put in the work to do it. It's like room for it, but specifically, yeah, art. So I'm talking painting, illustrating, graphic design, like murals is the same as painting. So just anything like that, and then, like I said, it's a lot of opportunities and people that can connect you.
Anyone else quick career opportunities in their fields?
Yeah, I mentioned before, everyone in here is already a content creator, and you can monetize that. You know, for me, I create content for a news organization, and you can do that, whether that's broadcast news or legacy media like a print edition or websites. Every website and app, when you're reading things on that, somebody had to take the time to write that. So, you know, for me, I got lucky. I was basically just interested in like sports and girls in high school, and I fell into becoming a sports writer. So I, you know, originally started just going to games, and it was certainly a labor of love. And for me, that it's kind of morphed into this bigger thing where now I'm really telling stories about the community. But you could become a journalist. You could write from, you know, magazines, websites. PR for companies is communications is a good field to get into for anyone here. There's always going to be a need for content, and then that means there's always a need for content creators, and you guys are all already equipped on that based on how you use your phones. I see a lot of you right now using your phones as we talk, so I know you're good at it, and I think you guys just take what you're good at and take what you like, and you can kind of morph it into what works for you, and find your passion by doing something you love, as opposed to just chasing a paycheck.
Wonderful, wonderful. Any other quick career opportunities?
Yeah, real quick. Dave and I come from mostly the technical side of it, and the things that we do, you know, kind of serve the creative side of it. And if you're serious about trying to find out about getting into what we'll just call the movie business on the technical side, you should learn what all those positions are at the end of a movie, all that long list of people that you see. Every single one of those is a career. Every single one of those people at the end of the movie are making a living doing whatever it is they said they're doing, and they take it very seriously. So there's a lot of jobs, there are very specific jobs, and there's so many different positions I'll just call it a movie crew. So many career opportunities, it's so varied, it's amazing. So if it's something you are interested in, you kind of need to go to somebody somewhere and just learn what are the positions, what do they do, how do you get into it, and you would be amazed at how many there are and how completely different they are from each other. But
That's wonderful. And then anything quick, Dave, or do you co-sign what Lon's just offered?
I guess I could only contribute much the same. The basics that you learn in this business are composition of a scene, which applies to everything from a mural to a still picture to a motion picture. The other opportunities in the business, from news, which is documentary, basically, and documentary production, on up to feature film. We've got it all here in West Michigan. Every company of any size needs intercompany communication in one way or another, and that's where what we do, that's where we're at, and that's where there's a lot of opportunities.
Wonderful. Let's give our panel another hand. So at this time, I'd like to open it up to you all in the audience. We have some time for a couple of questions. Just raise your hands. We have folks floating around with mics. Anything that really, piqued your interest that you might want to follow up on if my follow-up questions were not as thorough? Any curiosities that you might have? Let's see those hands. Anybody?
How many of you have seen Eminem's new video? If you have not seen Eminem's Darkness video, go home, put your earbuds in so your parents can't hear it, and watch that thing. You will see something that is beautiful and chilling. It's got the lyrics, it's got imagery. To me, it is just a small version of what this project could be if you choose to go this route. Use it for something powerful, and really, this is a beautiful, beautiful film, this little video that he made. Listen to it. It is haunting.
I got a question for Lon.
All right, question for Lon.
I just wanted a couple of movies you produced or whatever. I just wanted to know. I was interested.
Like topic matter.
the
Subject
movies
matter.
that I've worked on,
Yeah.
most of the movies I've worked on have been originated out of Michigan. They're one we actually shot right in this area a few years ago. It's called A Chance of Rain. From 2008 till about 2015, I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but the state of Michigan was giving money for people to come here and make movies. So there was a ton of, I guess you could call them Hollywood movies that came here, and that was an opportunity for a lot of crew members like me, to day play. So I don't know if you would know any of the movies that I worked on. There's a whole list of them on IMDb. One of them I did a long time ago, maybe even before you guys were born, I don't know. It's a movie called Standing in the Shadows of Motown, and it's actually an amazing documentary. It's about the studio musicians who played behind every Motown artist, and they shot it here. We met all the guys, and I think you would probably like that if you saw that. It was really an amazing movie.
I have a question for the guy far left. I can't see your name tag from here. Yeah.
This is the infamous Jaziel Pugh.
Hello there. How many years of college for you to become like an artist?
I ain't graduated college yet, so 0. I do plan on going to college. That'd be sweet to go for art. Probably go for fine arts or something like that. Usually it's like a 4-year degree, but yeah, if you ask me do I think you need to go to college to be an artist? Yeah, no. Okay. But I do think you gotta work though. You know what I mean? You gotta put in work. So I don't know. I guess it just depends. I feel like you can learn a lot. I guess it's whatever you prefer. If you feel like going to school and doing that will make it better, it absolutely would. Or if you feel like taking another route and doing it your way and just struggling and figuring out how to do it, I think that'll work out for you too.
For Jaziel, What other notable murals around town have you done? Like, I've seen the two wolves by the Penetrator. I was wondering if that was one that you've done or any other ones you could name.
All right, so I didn't do the wolves, but that one is sweet. That was a guy from New York, Brooklyn, New York. So I've done one on the side of the old Empire building. It's across from Summit Point. I've done one Springfield Farmers Market. It's on the inside of the building. I've done one on 20th and Territorial, the butterfly mural. That's out across from Sir Pizza. I've done a mural inside Torty Taco and their menu. I've done a mural on Louis Donuts on East Columbia. I've done a mural at the police station. It's on the inside and outside. I've done a mural at KCC. It's on the outside of the Davidson building. I've done a mural, up K&A. I've done a mural at the K&A. And I've done a bunch of private murals too, like in people's houses. I've done this guy, he wanted a galaxy painted for his son, so I did the floors, all the walls, ceiling.
That's wonderful. Right on. So, I want to first thank you all for your attention and your engagement. I'd like to thank our panel, and then I'd like to just leave you with, once again, as you embark on this journey, ask yourselves why you are pursuing your project. Take this moment in time as part of your education to develop your leadership skills, assign roles, and follow them. Always keep your mind open and learn through every aspect of the process, and push yourself to develop clear messages to advocate and inspire.